Hi
Hi.
Vishakha,
Hi. Hi. Yeah, I'll just
how are you
adjust
doing?
this.
Yes,
Oh, good, yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
All right, welcome to Cool Kanya. A very, very warm welcome. And we have a lot of people very excited to see you here. So let me just give our audience a very, very quick introduction. So everybody, please give a very warm welcome to Vishakha Bhota. She is a very celebrated food blogger. She's been a travel blogger. She's a mommy blogger. She writes about food. She writes about the food she finds on her travels. And she's been doing some amazing work with her Instagram. And there's a lot more of how that came about to be in this conversation today. So, welcome, Vishakha.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Yes, absolutely. So, let's start, from the beginning. So, how did you come about to be a food blogger? Let's talk about
At that point of time, when I was like in primary school, almost like, in my fifth grade or sixth grade, and I started experimenting in the kitchen. So this way, I developed love for food and for cooking, and it always grew. I mean, you don't go back; it just grows.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, and after I got married, I moved to China, and I was really idle there for the initial 6 months. So that's when I started cooking a lot, and I started showing my skills to my husband. Like, see, such a good cook I am. And that definitely it developed, and we had friends coming over, and I used to cook for like 25 people at that time. So I did a lot of cooking even after my son. Again, I stopped working and I was home, so I did a lot of experiments and cooking in the kitchen. And that's when I decided, like, okay, let me just dedicate a food page, like, a page only to my food, because I received a lot of appreciation from friends there, and everybody motivated me, like, you should do something further. So that's how I started One Teaspoon Love. And yes, I'm here today, like, over 4 years, it's grown so beautifully.
Right. So, for a lot of you who I'm pretty sure might not be aware of this, Vishaka is actually an interior designer academically and by profession.
Yes.
And as you might have, guessed from the way she decorates her beautiful plates and her dishes, I think the design element is very, very much there. So, Vishaka, coming to, that was your journey so far. And in terms of, what is it like to be a food blogger? There are so many because, food blogging is a career. If someone would have mentioned this to anybody, let's say a couple of years back, people would have been at a loss for words. I mean, like something like this isn't
Yes.
particularly possible. But today we have this entire industry flourishing in terms of blogging. There are travel bloggers, there are food bloggers, and amidst all of this clutter, there are so many challenges to, sort of in terms of maintaining your authenticity, your own voice in this whole clutter. So how does that work out for you? What are the rewards, do you think? What are the challenges you face?
So firstly, definitely now people can take this up as a career. Earlier, it was difficult for people to understand, and even like talking about even now, like it is difficult for people to understand that ये भी like ये भी एक career हो सकता है. Like elders in the family don't understand this. So I have faced that problem. Slowly as passed, and they got to know more, like how this works and everything, and so now they understand. So I don't tell people like don't take this up as a career. If you love food, if you're really good at it, you must. Yes, initially there is not a lot of money in it. You might not gain returns, but slowly it will pick up and it'll be better. But there's so much of competition, and almost like every third person now wants to be a food blogger. And so
Yeah.
there the authenticity dies a bit, like there it gets a little difficult for people to survive then, who are really good to make money. I have been facing these problems, so yes, there are issues right now. And again, about coming to like making money. If you're really good at your work, if you're like giving your soul to it, you're really good. Definitely, you will get good collaborations, and that's how you make money. You cannot make money by reviewing food, but
Yeah.
yeah, when you do recipe development and you do brand promotions, that's when you earn money. And again, as I said, since there are a lot of people doing it now, at somewhere, you will find people imitating, trying to be somebody else,
Yeah,
trying to imitate, copy their work, like just steal their ideas and then put it across as theirs. So all this happens everywhere. It's not just this
absolutely.
industry.
Yeah,
But you have to deal it wisely, like deal with it wisely and like nicely, that okay, this is going to happen. You can't stop that, people. But definitely you can do is you can copyright your pictures, your content. And there are a few legal things that you can do, like say 1 teaspoon love. If you just type 1 teaspoon love on Instagram, so many people
I
have
see your son popping out from the
yes.
background. That is
Yeah.
adorable. I think, hi, hi, hello.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah. Okay, go. So many people have used that handle name now. But what did I do? Like a few years ago, I trademarked my logo and my handle name, and I've registered it. So there are a few things that people can do to maintain that authenticity. Also, coming to the content that you're giving to people, just be true to yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. Be honest with yourself, with your work. Do what you genuinely feel is right, and you should be doing. And somebody should come to know that okay, this is her style, like this is her work.
Yeah.
Even in the million, your work should stand out. It has to be unique, because if you'll try and copy somebody else, there'll be many who will be doing the same thing. So these are a few things that you have to keep in mind. And yeah, I think nobody will stop you.
Right. So, you mentioned a lot of things that are, at the macro level, there are so many things impeding somebody's growth in this field. What were the
Yes.
challenges that you faced personally? I mean, we all know monetarily it's a big, big loss when you're just starting out. You can't expect to make profits in the first year
Yes.
itself. I mean, it takes a long time till, you get there. But personally, what do you think were the challenges that you faced?
So yes, initially when I started with it, obviously you don't get brand promotions on the first day. They
Right.
will look at your content over a period of time, the amount of followers you've got, the engagement that you have. And that's how I think, say maybe once I started, like within 6 months, I might have got my first assignment. And I feel that was purely because of the consistency that I maintained. I had traveled a lot that time, a lot of food content I had, and plus showing my skills and doing home based recipes. So that's when it actually started. Obviously, it started with a small amount, and it did take time to grow. But the biggest turning point was when this Australian spice brand came to me, approached me, and asked me to develop recipes for them.
Okay.
So I did like 24 recipes for them using their spice blends, and that was like a total turning point for me. And after that, I could call myself like a recipe developer, and I started making good money. I'm not saying like a lot of money and like big money, but definitely did better than what initially it was. So family did not understand. They thought I'm wasting time, I'm wasting money. And also one very important thing,
Hmm.
you don't get things easily. You have to work hard for it. Also, profit and everything takes a little time. So you have to invest initially to get something back. So I have spent a lot of money from my pocket, going to restaurants and eating, and
Yeah.
eating street food, and doing a lot of things. So you got to do that. Nothing is free.
Absolutely. We have delicious mommy cook talking about how you've
Yes.
always been an inspiration to her. So
Yes, yes,
yeah,
Priyanka. I do know Priyanka. Like,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
she does follow me. Yeah, and she also does some beautiful cooking.
Okay, that's amazing. So you mentioned, what I found very interesting in that was the talk about the whole idea about, developing recipes with the ingredients that they gave. So how does that process work out? Because honestly, I think this is the first time I'm hearing of it, and it sounds so interesting in terms of, because food blogging generally, one I being a layman in the field, I would assume that it comes from, it's a very personal, intricate, it's a very
Yes,
innate thing that comes out. But with brand collaborations and everything, you have a sort of a brief that's given to you. So how does
yes.
your creativity play out in that?
So that's very challenging when you're given a product and they tell you, okay, now this is my product, or maybe these are the 5 ingredients that you got to cook with. So that
Yeah.
is something that I really love doing, and I
It's
have
like a
done that.
master chef in nutshell.
Yeah, so that is very challenging, and it's not just challenging, it's also very fun to do that. So you said it right, that's the time when your creativity actually comes out.
Right.
Like it's like you're in a prison and they ask you find a way to get out of the prison. So you will start racking your brain and you will do a lot of brainstorming and you will come up with something. So I have done recipes like that for Halflay, and every year they come up with this Supermom contest. So they ask me, they always have this great idea of, they give 5 ingredients, 4 ingredients to the people who are participating, and they say you have to create dishes only out of these 5 ingredients.
Right.
So I think I did that 2 years for them, like, with the different set of ingredients that they gave me both the years. And it's fun. And I think that's where your true talent comes out.
Yeah, I think. So, you've spoken quite a bit about, just working with brands and practice primarily that's how I'm assuming, a lot of the revenue, so to say, comes in from. So, again, again, as I mentioned, food blogging or just blogging in general, there's your personality in it. But when you do end up collaborating with people, there's always the idea of, how do you maintain your voice, your authenticity when you're collaborating with somebody else's voice? So how does that balance work out for you? How far willing are you to, to compromise on your voice to maybe, let's say, I don't know, appease a brand or regain a client, or how does that work out for you? Where's that balance come from?
To be very honest, I am a little straightforward person. I'm not very diplomatic, and I put my things straight. Definitely, we do sometimes get briefs from clients, and they
Yeah,
say we want this. It has to be like this. You can't deviate from that. So, see, when it is something minor, it's fine. It's adjustable. You can do it. But sometimes, if they totally want to overshadow your talent and your skill, and do something which you might not want to do or you wouldn't do, then I really don't take that up. It
right.
hasn't really happened with me a lot of times. It's not so maybe just once or twice that happened when I was supposed to like write a blog or something like that. So then they had like a lot of do's. Sorry, they had a lot of do's and don'ts.
Right.
But when it comes to recipe development, I don't like that, that caging in that. I want my thoughts to be weird, like free, and come up with something unique. So, and I think whatever I've done till now, like I have enjoyed doing it, and the clients have liked it. So, I have not heard a negative feedback yet that what you did was not up to the mark, and
Yeah.
yeah, so on.
So is it restrictive for you at times, maybe?
Uh, so that's what I'm telling you. I have not come across that very like those very dominating clients that nahi aisa hi chahiye. I have not. So luckily, it's not been a issue with me.
That's good to know. So, coming back to this, so you transitioned a lot, right? You started from like you just started from experimenting and
Yeah.
playing around with food in a kitchen, and now you have an entire blog and you have a dedicated followership, as we can see right here. So, where do you see how does growth pan out for you? Post this, maybe you spoke about developing recipes or talking about critiquing food in general. So how do you differentiate yourself? How do you grow in this space?
So see, every day is like a new learning. Every day you have to improve yourself because there's so many people coming in, such good talent around. I'm not saying I am the best, there are people who are better, and I know they are better. So it's not competing with them, it's competing with
Right.
your own self every single day. So you just got to improve yourself and try learn new things, and just keep experimenting and trying and coming up, so that growth will be gradual, it's not going to be instant.
Right.
But yes, that's how everything works. You can't just stand down below the ladder and think that you will reach the top. It has to go step by step, and that's how even I've grown. And now I'm good with Instagram, things are going smoothly, everything is fine, but now I'm thinking of what's next. Now I have to go
Yeah.
beyond Instagram.
So what's
So
evolution
I
for
keep
you?
getting, yes. So people keep telling me, we want to eat your food. Like, when do you come up with a restaurant and why don't you deliver food? It is a little problematic for me because I have a small child, I have a family to look after. It's a little difficult to, do things, but definitely I'm working towards that. And I know one
Yes.
day I will reach somewhere. I'm just being positive about it. And I am definitely working on something. So hopefully that growth should happen soon.
Yeah, I think everybody starts somewhere, right? So, in the currently, the troubling times that we're living in. I mean, I don't have to elaborate on that, but somehow owing to whatever situations we've all been put under, I think somewhere down the line we've all sort of refigured, reconnected with food in our own different ways, right? Because the help isn't coming. Ordering outside, which used to be a norm at one point of time, is just
Yes.
it's just very deadly at this point of time. So this whole, I think all of us and a lot of us, we've found our ways to connect with food, to reconnect with food. So how do you think the future of food blogging looks like after this? Since everybody's looking for recipes online. I know